And we are live. What is cracking? Hey, girl. Excited.
Really excited to be here. It's been so long.
I know. It's been so long. So long. Oh, look at Angie. Hey, girl. Look. Such a good partner supporting me on our 2-year anniversary. Everybody give Angie send Angie some anniversary love because it is our 2-year anniversary. And I'm streaming.
I'm sorry.
Cat, I'm so excited. It's been 2 years.
Has it? Is it that long? I think it might be.
I think so. We'll talk about it. But it has been just about 2 years, yeah. Gigi's here.
Wild.
I know. We can talk about so funny. You told me all about Enneagrams. I want to hear all about what you're doing. That's what we were streaming. Remember, it was me, you. You did like 2 or 3 streams with me.
Yeah.
Really? With Kim.
Really?
Yeah. Paul is here. K-Walk is here. Gigi's here. CK's here. Celeste is here. Yes, please. Everybody give Angie all the anniversary love for me, because
All the love.
yes, all the love. Got a new background. Cat, I must say your background looks insane.
Did you see the note about the music's really loud?
No, is it? No, I did not. Hold on. Okay. Let me lower that. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenessa.
All right, I lowered that. How's that? Thank you. Your music is very large, so it's so hard to hear you too. Thanks, Gigi. See, leave it up to the community to keep us honest, right? Yeah. That's what we need, though. I appreciate that. This should be better. I lowered it. You know, when I download music from Epidemic Sounds, it's usually really loud. Super loud. Laura H is here. Hey, Laura, how are you? John Van de Voort. Tell me if I said that right. I'm excited for it.
Did you notice that I'm not wearing black? I almost always wear the same black. It's the same shirt, but not black. It's the exact same one, but in blue.
Do you go? Okay. Do you go?
Still quite loud. Apparently, the music is.
Is it
loud.
really? Yeah. That's so weird. Hi. All right. No, that's good.
And...
Yeah. All right. Well, let me see. It should be switching. It should be. Hold on. We're about to be 3 minutes. I'm pretty sure I have a 3-minute countdown. I do not have any countdown on here, so that is all right. So let me come back. Hold on. I don't even know where my scenes are. Where's the next scene? What's happening? All right.
I feel you.
Well, the music ended. Hi, Kat. How are you doing today?
Hi, India. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so sorry that we're streaming on your anniversary, and we'll try to keep it on time. You can celebrate.
So here's the thing, and the dogs are going crazy. That means that the kids literally just got in, so that'll keep her preoccupied because she also hasn't had the kiddos for a weekend. They left on Friday, so she's gonna they'll give her all the love for me in this hour block. Good. I'll be safe.
Awesome.
For an hour, guys. I have to only do an hour because if not, Angie will come. Y'all know Angie will come in and be like, "Good night, unplug," and then the stream will go down.
That'd be amazing, just actually unplugging and just everything goes down. It's like,
down.
Okay.
And that's it, right? Like, okay, just like, did the stream end? Is that it? Is that it?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So we said unmod here. Sorry, new account. Well, yes, Dr. Elo's been having. Did you see Dr. Elo had some issues with his channel? He lost his channel.
No, I had not heard that.
Error. So let me tell you about Dr. Elo, and then I'm gonna let you introduce yourself because y'all know I come with all the shade. So Dr. Elo decided to change his channel into a brand channel. What do you have, Kat? So Kat, you have first of all, wait a minute, let's celebrate you. You have 13. I know I'm all over the place. I don't have my stream deck for the squirrel gif. You have 13,000 followers, 15,000 viewers, subscribers. How big is your community now?
So I have over 15,000 amazing subscribers, and I am grateful for every single one.
Yeah.
And but I don't have an active community. I've been really, maybe we can talk about this, but
Yeah, yeah.
I've been grappling with social media, me and social media, and where I show up, and I kind of disappeared for a little while
Yeah.
because I needed it.
Yeah.
And so we could talk about that too. But
Yeah.
to answer I think the question you were going to ask is, which type
Yes.
of channel do I have? I have a
Yes,
brand
that was.
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have a
And I
brand
kind of
channel.
wish the funny thing is I started it when I had a completely different business,
Okay.
and I was using my old website to create the channel. And I really wish that I had done it a different way, because I now can't, I have to pay every year for this domain and this email address, because
That you're
because
not
I used a third
using.
party, Google
Mm.
won't let me change it. It's so ridiculous,
They
especially
won't
when
let you
Google
transfer
is
it?
no. Or at least at the time I couldn't. So now I
Okay.
keep having this email address for this domain I no longer run, but no one can see that on the brand side for
Right.
YouTube. So the
Right.
name, you can change the name,
Right.
but yeah, I
Yeah.
still have the email.
And you just kind of throwing away money, for lack of better words, right?
Yeah.
John says, big fan of both your work. Kat, glad to see you back to creating content.
Thank you,
Yes.
John. I appreciate that. Now you need to
So,
finish your story
yeah,
about the
so right,
channel.
exactly. Yeah, so Dr. Elo wanted to switch from a personal channel to a brand channel, and
Yeah.
somehow in the mist of all of that, he says that he accidentally deleted his channel altogether. Like it was just gone. Like he went through the process. He said he transitioned, went through the process of what YouTube tells you to do, and
Yeah.
then it said to wait, right? It usually takes 10 or 15 minutes. He said that he waited 15 minutes, then 2 hours, and then like 6 hours, and then realized his
Oh,
channel was just gone and has
years
reached
of
out
work.
to,
Oh,
right, yeah, yeah,
God.
yeah, reached out to YouTube support, and they confirmed his channel is done. And he's working with Renee Ricci to see if they
Yeah.
can try
Oh,
to get it
good.
back in the interim. If not, he started a new channel. So all of you guys, if you were supporters of Dr. Elo, he's in the chat now. Please subscribe to that account because he kind of, he needs our love and our support.
I am so sorry that happened to you, Elo. And also, I like that you say hashtag fun time. All you can't, you kind of have to just say, I'm
Right.
going to do everything I can do and try to work with the right people to get it back.
Right.
There's only so much,
You can do.
that's the type of thing.
Right. And
Yeah.
at least he started something right away, right? Like that's
Yeah.
I think even the thing, right? Like instead of the inaction sometimes people do, it's like, listen, he's just if he gets the other channel back, great, but in the interim, let me just start
Yeah.
a new channel. Let me just, letting the regular community know and then continuing to um post and create content in the interim. So,
Yeah.
you're
That
very
is
welcome, my
resilience.
friend. That is resilience because I think I would have cried for
Oh,
hours, right?
yeah.
Like I
Oh, there were so many tears. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So anyway, Kat, let's give the community an opportunity. Who are you? How I know who you are, but let's tell everybody else who Cat Mulvihill is. A little bit about what you've been
Yeah.
up to, and go ahead, do you?
So if you've never met me before, no, I like to say that in my videos, my little introduction. So my main thing is teaching people how to stand out in virtual meetings and presentations. I also help with speaking and do some vocal coaching. And I'm just really passionate about having people stand out and make an impression and really come alive online, because I think so many people don't realize that it's not quite the same when you're talking to a camera, and that there are little things you need to do, but there are also some pretty cool things you can do. And the bar is pretty low for virtual presentation quality. Everyone's kind of dialed it in, and you've sat on
Yeah.
so many Zoom calls and Teams calls, and it's just draining, and it just, yeah. So I would say that's my main focus, but I'm also, as you are aware, I'm a nerd about a lot of other things. And so I tend to geek out about something. If I'm passionate about it, chances are I will also talk about those other things.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit about me. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Am I so? And I. This is. Am I audio? Is my audio coming in on the left now, or is it coming in only on the right? Can you? Does it make? Can you? Are you able to hear
I hear you on both, but
now?
maybe
Okay.
for the rest of but we'll
Right.
let the the
Yeah.
viewers tell us.
Yeah. So I'm using a different interface and I was messing with some buttons. So yeah,
I mean, I
he's
think I
gonna drive
can.
me
Let's do a
crazy.
test. I'm gonna take you out of one ear at a time.
Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now? Can you hear
Yes.
me there?
Okay.
Okay.
Now
All
let's do
right.
the other side. Let's do the
All
other
right.
side.
Left only. Dr. Elo said left
Yeah, I can
only.
hear you.
You can hear
I can hear
me.
you on both, but maybe I don't know of what's coming through YouTube.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
do a
so weird.
little
Dr. Elo said
test
left
test.
only, but I switched it before. And you know that there's a little bit of latency. So okay. All right. It's fine. I mean, even if everybody can hear me, I may only come out left for tonight because as you can see, I've been working a little bit on the studio here in the background. I was telling Angie a little bit of not Angie. I was thinking of Angie. I was telling Kat that here
Yeah.
in Angie's house, trying to get my thoughts together. So let me see. So it's so funny, and we can actually go through the transition. So the last time we were on a live stream together, I was here at Angie's house, and that was when Angie and I first started dating 2 years ago, and I was streaming from Angie's kitchen 2 years ago, like on the dining room table. I was like kitty
Yeah.
cornered. Oh, I'm moving the whole desk. I was like kitty cornered with my laptop, and I would like
Yeah.
do this whole makeshift, try to.
And I feel like, did you have to run out to Best Buy or
I did.
something? You were
I
missing
did.
some
I
important
think I was
piece of tech.
missing, yeah. So 2 years ago, what I was only traveling with, right? Because for what we do it, because I do the most. So you can literally just do a laptop and your MacBook camera, right? But because I do the most, I'm
Yeah.
trying to bring a microphone and I'm trying to bring the smallest interface possible and the light and stuff.
Hmm.
So I had the ZV-E10, and at the time, the ZV-E10 didn't not the ZV-10, the ZV-1, the ZV-1,
Yeah, and it
and
still
it
needed a capture card.
correct because the
You didn't have the
USB streaming.
firmware
Yep,
yet.
you got
Yes,
it.
I
You
remember.
remember. That's exactly what it was. Well, that's what it was. You hit the nail on the head. So
Yeah.
the USB streaming was not yet enabled by
Hmm.
default from the factory. You
Yeah.
needed to update it on the firmware, but the firmware was not available to us on Macs yet.
Yep.
And I forgot a capture card and I was trying to get my life together. So it was all the things.
Yeah.
Um, and so here we are, the progression. So I ended up, let me see, what did I do? So I went from the kitchen. I started streaming in her living room for a little bit of time. And then it was like, well, this is also not functional. And then from the living room, I came downstairs and she has it's a huge basement and it's not a finished basement, but the basement is huge. And I was like, listen, I can just take a corner of the basement and I can,
Yeah.
do a makeshift wall. And Angie's so not like I'm like I go all in, right? Like so with a
Yeah.
project, I go all in. Angie's like, you do whatever you want. I started telling her and she was like, space is yours, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And so she had some really cool, she's a crafter, and so she had
Oh,
some really
nice.
cool pegboards. So then I was like,
Okay.
all right, I can make a
You
pegboard
could do one of
wall
those,
behind
like those
me.
tech. A lot of tech people have the pegboards with the different things mounted and hanging, and yeah.
That was my intention. So I got it
Hmm.
mounted on the walls and stuff. I got like 2x4s from Home Depot to mount the pegboard to the wall
Yeah.
to like go up and down, right? It just the vision never came to life, and so I streamed a few times with the pegboards behind me. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it also wasn't very pretty. And I was like, all right, this is not working. Like this is not
Yeah.
working. And then Luria had just released a video a few months ago for a client that they did with the photography wall backdrops and how
Hmm.
easy it was. And then I started like Googling prices and I was like, yeah, that's what I need to do. Like that's
I
just it.
I love it. I love the simplicity of your
Right.
background right now.
Thank you.
It's a nice pop, and you can turn that into any color.
Any color.
I I think it's amazing.
Any color.
I'm
Thank you.
actually kind of envious. I think
Any
you
color.
just don't have to worry about all the background. And I actually bought, so Paul and CK actually know this. No one else knows this. I bought a light, and it was this funky shape, and I just wanted to have it kind of back over my shoulder as a piece of interest in the corner. Nothing neon, nothing crazy, but it had two sides that came up and sort of crossed, and then the
Yeah.
light came from the center. Beautiful, kind of bright.
Yeah.
But the problem is because it's a corner behind me,
Yeah.
the light cast a shadow on the other side. So they both basically would
Yeah.
project a
Yeah.
shadow, which if you
Yeah.
didn't have walls beside them, totally fine. But because there's a wall right beside, it was so distracting. And
Yeah.
so it's now in the box, and I'm printing a label to return it because it just
Nice.
doesn't work. But I
Nice.
am trying to find something, just
Yeah.
some visual interest in the background. Wait, what did
Couple
Paul
of
say?
swans making out with each other. The light looked like a couple of swans making out with each other. Okay. Leave it to Paul
That's
to say
funny.
something random, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's
It
so
was it
funny.
was a cool light, and it'd be nice maybe in a different room, but there's just no other space for it. So I just call a spade a spade. It was an
Yeah.
attempt. I was trying. I'll keep
Yeah.
trying.
You
But that's
know,
why I think I'm so envious of your background, because it's like just
so
simple,
simple. Look,
plain.
so check this out. So let me see. If I turn it off, now it's red because there's two lights.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
look, now it's red. I turned it off and I can turn that one off. Let me see. Is that one? What is this one? Nope, that's the wrong channel. Look. All right, so if I go to channel 2, nope, I turned that one back on. Hold on. So these are Fit Pavo tubes
Okay.
from Nanlite. What's happening here? No, hold on.
I want the purple back.
Okay, there you go. And so
I
it's
like
just
the
a
red.
gray.
Oh, there's the gray. Yeah.
So this is the natural backdrop. It's from the
Yeah.
Savage, which are popular photography backdrop wallpapers. So the brand is from Savage. Think
Can
Media
I ask
has
how much? Are
done.
you willing to share?
No, yeah, listen, super inexpensive. It's a great deal. I will
Yeah.
recommend it for anyone that wants to hide, or even someone like even me and you in our regular studios. Like if you wanted to have something different to mount it from the ceiling, it's actually a really good deal. So I got the hardware kit by itself. I actually got
Okay.
it from B&H open box for $55. Brand new, they're like $65. So I saved
What?
$10, but $55 open box, and there was literally nothing wrong with it. And the kit that I
Oh my
have,
God.
it can fit 3 rolls. So I was like, that's perfect because I can get a gray. I did,
Mm-hmm.
guys, don't judge me, but I did get a green roll for green screen because I don't know, like I just have,
I
you
have a
guys
green
know,
screen. I just
it's the
keep it tucked
right
away until I
because
need
you
it.
never know.
But yeah.
Exactly. So I said, you know what? That's perfect. So I got I did the package for 3 rolls, and so you can mount it on the ceiling, you can mount it on the wall, but the same 2x4s that I had purchased that for the pegboards, I used those same 2x4s and mounted the kit to
Okay.
the 2x4s, and then I mounted
Yeah.
the 2x4s to the cement wall here in the basement.
Yeah.
And so I got the gray wall. So the rolls themselves are $60 a piece. So that's where you spend the
Okay.
money. The
Yeah.
rolls themselves, but still, even if you need
That's
just
still really
one,
good.
exactly,
If you're
because look
buying
at
a retractable green screen, you're spending at least $150
exactly,
easy. So yeah.
exactly. Let's see. So let's turn this back on, right?
And even
Oh,
if
I
you
turned it
just
off.
had gray with a natural light, you can just kind of have a nice glow behind you. That's
Right,
because even gray is pretty nice. So
right,
I like it a
right.
lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big
So
fan.
$60, and then this is 7 feet wide. So they have
Yeah.
4 feet. And depending on your setup, you can get away with 4 feet, right? Because if you have the right lens and all of that, but then that takes a lot more planning with the placement of your camera and
Yeah.
things like that. So this is, I just have my Sigma 16 millimeter. So I have the 7 feet. So there's more than enough space, even if I were to go wide.
Yeah.
And then the length is insane. Like more, I don't even know how long it is, but it's an insane amount of length that it just
Yeah.
rolls down. And that's it. And it's the best thing ever. Like
Yeah.
even think about it for like thumbnails and stuff like that, right? Like I can just
Oh, it'd
stand in
be
front of it,
amazing for thumbnails.
right?
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I've
I
been
use
thinking
the
about adding it
background
for the house.
remover, but still. Actually, no, I
Yeah.
don't use the background remover. I mostly just blur now.
Is that
So
it? You're just like
that's
forget
my
it. Like
go-to now. My go-to for thumbnails has been, so I had someone work on my website, and I
yeah,
said to her, if I know YouTube thumbnails are not intuitive, there's no great design. They're not
right,
highly designed. YouTube
right,
thumbnails, it's the wild, wild west of what actually works and what doesn't. But
right,
she
right.
made a sample of some other older live streams I had done and made a new version. And so she just kind of blurred out my background and then stuck some words on it. I was like, oh, yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
It's
Simple.
simple. I don't have to
Right.
overthink it. I don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but it does allow me to have something to put text or photos on. So
Exactly.
that's been my recent go-to, but I really would love the idea of that gray background for doing thumbnails and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the other thing that's cool with the paper itself being so long that if I wanted to, I can technically pick it up and put the paper on the desk and then even use it for B-roll, right? So you
Yeah.
with the same exact concept, you get a small light, right? A small little light like that. You get some
Mhm.
color on the light, and then if you're doing like a product shot or a tech review or something like that. So I was like, I honestly I've been thinking about getting maybe a 4 foot kit for my house in the studio in
Yeah.
Philly just for the thumbnails because again at the price and I would just need at that point I would just need one roll. So the
Yeah.
4 foot wide papers were $40. So then you
Okay.
figure under a hundred
Yeah.
dollars, right? And not even because that was a three. Yeah, it's definitely under $100 because you can get the kit where it's one roll. But I would probably get the kit again if I were to do it in my house. I would get the kit again where I can put 3 rolls just in case. But then I would
Okay.
just do 4 feet and then the
Yeah.
same thing, just have for thumb rolls, for B roll shots, and all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway. And then the other thing
It's
I was messing with was then because then the second piece of that when you are changing your background is then the actual lighting of me. So then there's the lighting of the pavo, the background itself. And what I was worried about was there being a cast, right? And
yeah.
it's you got it, same page, right? So I was like, all right, is it going to be too close to me? And I want to have normally I will have it here, but it's just one light on this corner. I'm trying to get my hand. It's two lights actually on that corner, but normally I was going to do one on each side. But I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, that
I
casts
like the
enough.
shadow. I like so you don't have the purple cast, which is nice,
Right.
but I do like that you have more dramatic lighting. So it's
Yeah.
darker on that side for both your background and your face. It kind of gives some
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, listen, it came out well, anniversary weekend. Luckily, if the kids had come here earlier, Angie would have been all in the comments telling you guys about what I put her through. Because yesterday, listen, I did not do this shit by myself, okay? Angelica 100% was down here holding up the 2x4 to the cement and having me and I was making her
Ooh.
carry the level. She was doing all of that stuff. So this
And you
was
got
a
through it in
we
one
did.
piece, which is really good. I have learned a lesson that household building, putting things together, etc., is best done not
Listen.
in a partnership. Either hire a pro or just one. When
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not good.
Well,
I
so it's
I
funny.
also say if I ever did the Amazing Race, we wouldn't make it. One of us would
Listen,
end up in jail because we offed the other person during the trip in some foreign country.
so a part of our weekend has been with trying to be intentional and things like that, just talking about
Yeah.
what our last 2 years have been like. And you guys know, especially you, Kat, right? Because you were there. I was telling you about when I was looking at my houses and stuff like that. Like that's
Mhm.
how long ago it was. So
Yeah.
I've gone through tons of trials and tribulations. Obviously we're still long distance, so there's all of that stuff in between. And so we were talking about like some of our most memorable moments within the last two
Mhm.
years. And for me, one of those events was the first night at my house. So Angie came with me to for the closing, and I was adamant on sleeping in my house my very first night.
Yeah.
But what that actually meant, Kat, was so listen, so I don't think I really told people what that day looked like. So you guys know
Okay.
I was actually staying with Angie here in Connecticut. So okay, wait, let's go back. I was staying with my brother in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
When I broke up with my ex, I was staying with Joseph in Pittsburgh and then started looking for homes. And then at the tail end of it, I ended up staying with Angie in Connecticut because that was also right around the pandemic and things like that. Um, and there my brother's someone on my brother's like who he's close with had gotten exposed and all of that. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna stay here till it's time for my closing. Okay, so I'm in Connecticut. but the home I bought was in Philadelphia, 4 hours away. My
Yeah.
storage with my bed was in New Jersey, an
Oh.
hour and a half away from my house. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had to pass. Okay. So we're going from Connecticut down. So we passed the storage. I thought I was going to have enough time because I did rent the van. I thought that I was going to have enough time to go from Angie's house to the storage,
Yeah.
get all
And
I
the storage is
needed.
in New Jersey.
Correct. And
Yeah.
all I needed was the bed and like my sofa, right? Like, so throw that in there. Everything else I could have done on my own. But it was like, babe, I need you with my bed frame, the mattress, the box spring, and just the long sofa itself. So I can sit down and I'm not sitting on the floor. So we're going, but Angie has kids and she was relying on her cousin to help her. Her cousin ended up being late, which pushed everything back. We couldn't push the closing because I was closing on a Friday. And they said, if you don't close today, you can't close till next week. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
was
You don't
I
want
was
that.
done,
No.
right? Exactly. I was done. I was like, all right. So we're just gonna do the up and down, up and down. So we drove straight from Connecticut. And when I tell you I insanely fast speeds from Connecticut down to Philadelphia. We won't talk about how fast I was going, but insanely fast speeds.
Yeah.
We did the closing, and then I also had to go to my house to do the final walkthrough because the house
Okay.
was staged. So I needed to make sure that everything was working, all of that
Mm-hmm.
legal stuff. So from Connecticut to Philadelphia, met my realtor. She did most of the walk for me to make sure that everything was okay, so that I can just come in. And the house was empty, and I was like, all right, let's go. We then headed to the title agency to close, signed a
Yeah.
document. Then there was a little bit of pause. So then Angie was like, all right, now I need you to slow down. And that's definitely Angie in my life. She's very much slow down, be
Yeah.
intentional, be in the moment. Because you guys know I'm like a mile a minute. So she's like,
Yeah.
let's go out to eat. So we did go out to eat in Philadelphia to celebrate. And I'm like, okay, the clock is ticking. We got to get to the storage. So then we go. So we went
So now
from,
you drove another hour and
we
a
went
half
back
to
up,
the storage?
to the
Okay.
storage.
Okay.
And so this is where what you're saying about, sometimes as partners, you shouldn't do stuff, right, in a relationship. Because when I tell you back in that truck for the mattress and the sofa and the angles and are you lifting it and is
Pivot.
it's gonna pivot, exactly, pivot. And if you guys are not Friends fans, please just go look up
Just that
Pivot
one.
Friends,
So
and that's
good.
it, and you will totally get it.
And the outtakes of that scene are also incredible. If
I
you
haven't
watch
seen.
this,
Oh, I
this
gotta check out
oh
the
yeah.
outtakes. I have not
Mm-hmm.
seen it. So we make it. That wasn't as bad. But then we get to, so I live in the city part of Philadelphia where I don't have a driveway. Like I got to park in the street, which now think about moving truck. There wasn't a place
Yeah.
for me to park. I live in a
Oh, so
one
you had to
way.
travel with the furniture?
Yeah.
See, that is like an Amazing Race kind of activity of, hey, you
I,
just started dating. You just drove I can't even do the math. What is that? 7 hours worth of driving, maybe?
It was, yes, 7 hours. Wait, she's listening. So she's getting the kids together, but she's listening. She says, none of this is my fault. I was so helpful. She was. But here's the thing, guys, and I'm glad she's here because we were still new in our relationship. But Angie and I were
Yeah.
best friends for like almost 3 years. But let me tell
Okay.
y'all, that transition from best friends to like relationship, is not the same, right? Like I can't yell at my girl the way I would yell at my friend, my best friend
Yeah.
is not the same, right? Like, so you got to tread lightly. And we were good. We were okay at the storage. But
Yeah.
I think at the tail end, when we got to my house, there was no parking. I had to double park in front of my house. And it was like 11 o'clock at night and cars kept coming. So I had to we would put offload a little bit and then I had to fucking go around the block again because I couldn't block. And then so
Yeah.
we did that. Finally made that. Then I had to go up my 4 little steps to get up into the house. And that was when you want to talk about pivot. I'm like with the sofa and with the mattress and all of that. We
Yeah.
finally get it in. We just threw the mattress on the floor in the living room as soon as you get in the house, and we slept for
Yeah.
like three
Done.
hours, and that was it. Done. So
Yeah,
I say
that's
that
so hard if
because
you don't have any parking or dedicated spot to pull in and you
mm-mm,
just
the
yeah,
worst.
that is
It
tough.
tested my patience, and it tested our patience. And we have stories like Angie told her and her cousin, we bought stuff from IKEA, and her cousin were like, no, don't ever build shit with your husband, your wife, your partner from IKEA, because that will end your
Yeah.
marriage relationship. Like, it'll be
You
over,
know,
okay?
you know what does it? The reason I came up with that analogy is
Mm-hmm.
that driving in a country where the steering wheel is on the opposite side that you are used to,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and we made the mistake. So we've done that twice. So I think we've been in two, so England and Australia.
yeah,
And the first time, stupidly, we thought we both drive standard. Let's save
yeah.
money and we'll get a
Eh,
standard vehicle
right.
in a country where the stick is on the other side.
On
This
the other
what
side,
could
because it's not your
possibly go
dominant
wrong?
hand. Right. What?
Oh my god, it was terrible. So so we mostly relied on Phil, my
Yeah.
partner. So he was the one who took the lead, and I was so thankful for that.
Yeah.
And then the one night that we actually said, okay, no, I'm going to do this, and I was so
Yeah.
nervous about it,
Yeah.
was when we were going to meet some friends of his in Manchester. And I thought, okay, we're literally, we were staying at a little B&B, and it was literally just 2 streets to get to this bar. It was a few miles, but it was okay, we're going to go east and then we're going to go north. So I
Right.
thought I
Simple.
can do this. I can go
Right.
south and then go west, and I can
Right.
get back to this. No,
No.
because that little, I find out on the way home that there are 3 blocks that are one way only, only going north.
No.
So then
No.
at night in Manchester, and
Yeah.
I'm the only one who's able to drive, we got rerouted, and I thought, okay, we don't have a map. We did not have
Yeah.
GPS.
Yeah.
We literally, so I'm driving around. I end up getting honked in a roundabout because I don't know where I'm going. I end up on this little mini highway for a little while, and I
No.
got off
Oh my
because they
God.
don't have, unlike North America,
Yeah.
there just aren't street signs
Right.
everywhere. The
Yeah.
street sign is either maybe written on the side of a building or really
Yeah. Yeah.
low or
Yes. I've
not
seen that. Yep.
non-existent.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
horrible. And then he made some joke about still being better at it, even though he's had drinks and I haven't. And I was like, don't even,
Don't.
don't go.
Don't
Yeah.
effing like.
It was a
Don't.
nightmare. It was so bad. And then the other part would be when he was driving on these tiny little English country roads. I don't know
Yeah.
how 2 cars fit
Yeah. Yeah.
on some of
Yeah.
those roads.
Yeah.
So I'd be in the seat that's normally the driver's side, just kind of thinking, oh my God, we're gonna hit
We're
we're gonna hit
gonna die.
this
Gonna
wall. We're gonna
swipe
crash.
everything.
It was so
Yeah.
stressful. So that
Yeah.
was a really, really important lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get a standard car in another country where it's on the other side. And also maybe just don't drive in those countries.
Yeah, just don't. I agree. It's one of those things, right? So I've been to Paris twice. I've been to London, and it's one of, like, especially like in cities like that, that it's like,
Oh,
do you not, do you rent a car? Do you not? And I didn't. I listened to a few friends or whatever, and then
yeah.
doing research, and everybody was like, listen, between walking, the train station, and Uber,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
bother,
Their
right?
transit is so much better. The only reason we had it is because we were going between cities. And then as
Yeah,
soon as we got to the city, we just returned it
just
and was like,
that's
good
it,
riddance. We never want to see it again.
right?
So sometimes you have to, but I agree. I don't think I would drive in Paris. Maybe the outskirts, or maybe
Yeah,
pick up a car on the edge of the
yeah,
city and leave the city, but then
yeah.
don't. That would be very intimidating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nuts out there. It's definitely nuts out there with how they drive and stuff. Well, it's so funny. And then the same thing like in London, because of us, right? Like in America and North America, how we're used to our side, like you said, right? Like the driver's
Mhm.
side and everything being on the left side. And when you look, usually oncoming traffic for us is usually
Yeah.
that way. In London, apparently people don't look, they're used because it comes from this way, right? So for
Yeah.
us it's from the left, But in London, it's oncoming traffic is on your side is coming from the right. And so they have like crazy signs on the
Yeah,
floor
they'll
that
tell
it's
you
like,
which way to look.
yes,
Yeah,
right. And
it's
I remember
brilliant. Because they have
I
so
saw that
many
in
visitors, they realized they had to do it. It's so
yeah,
smart though.
exactly. Yeah. The first time I saw that was in Piccadilly Square and I was like, huh. And then like right, it's like the huh. And then I'm like, oh, oh, and I took a step back because I'm like, I'm about to die. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
CK
the poor
says,
tourists.
I feel this needs to be made into a short series video with a reenactment. And
Yeah.
Carlos, Motivated Mind, says, you're right. There is a much greater cost and more at stake in a romantic relationship than a friendship. 100%.
Mhm.
Just don't. And again, if you guys have not seen the Friends episode with Ross Pivot, just watch that. Just watch it.
It's so good.
That is. All right. So you went on a break. What have you been up to? Now that I told you all my shenanigans, what have you been up to, man?
So I guess there is this sort of a two-part. So in 2021, I was running my business and doing consulting and regular YouTube content, and I
Yeah.
had a course and some live workshops, and it was all focused on, online presentations, virtual presenting. And then I started doing some contract work helping with setting up some presentations for Notion Mastery, a course on Notion, which is also
Yeah.
I'm a huge Notion. And then there came an opportunity to come on board full time and actually create a brand new training program for teams that use Notion.
Mm.
And so that was really exciting to me. And the fact that I got to work with really talented people. And I thought it'd be really nice to sink my teeth into one project,
Yeah.
because in 2021, I found as an independent entrepreneur, you are constantly having, all these different things, whether it's consulting one-on-one or running this, or someone
Yeah.
hires you for a small project. So it's kind of all over the place. And I thought it would be so refreshing right now just to focus on one major project. So
Yeah.
I decided to do that. And then I started to create content still regularly, but everything else in my business, I scaled back. So
Yeah.
I called it putting it on the back burner, where
Yeah.
I was still creating content and I was doing this full-time job, and then trying to just keep the business on simmer on the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And I was doing that for a while, but in the summer I started to I had a couple of things come up in the summer, a couple of weddings I had to go to, some travel, but it was around that time that I realized I don't think I have the bandwidth right now to be regularly showing up, putting out content. Because as you know, actually creating content is not quick. It's
No.
as much as we wish, and I think both of us
Right.
probably wish, or in our heads
Yeah.
we think we're really.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's cute. This will take no time at all. And that's not
Yeah.
true. So I ended up just sort of pausing for a little while and taking a bit of a summer break, which I think people were just expecting, because I said, I've got some stuff going on. And then in September, I recognized that my health was just not where it needed to be.
Mm.
I was tired all the time. I was struggling to have just the energy to do things. And I just had a lot of signs and symptoms that all was not well.
Yeah.
And in the past, I've learned the hard way from being kind of just doing too much, burning the candle at both ends, and then my body shutting down and ending up in the hospital. I thought, I don't want to do that again. So
Yeah.
I purposely stepped back. And I think in retrospect, because you can always have a lot more insight in retrospect, I just was about a little bit out of alignment in a few different areas of my life, and I needed to sort of regroup and step back. And so that's what I did, and I shared that with my email list and community and just said, hey, I need to actually hit pause for a little while. I'm not sure when I'm coming back, but I need to do this for my health, because that's the most important thing. I can't show up as a creator if I don't take care of myself. And but I think I also didn't realize I needed to kind of find a way back creatively to regular content creation. And I ended up winding down the work that I did on the Notion training project, and then this, I guess in November, ended up transitioning back, and so now I'm back full time. And I also I don't know if I shared this I did an update video, but I did take a 12-week program sort of focused on nutrition and health and stress management, and that was
Okay.
so important, because I'm an accountability person. I can say,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to take care of my health, but
Yeah.
I do better to actually, no, we're going to show up every week for a
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
I'm
Me
going to
too.
have actual exercises I need to
Me
follow, and
too.
a person
Yes.
saying, hey, where are you? Where were you this week?
Yeah.
If I don't show
Yeah.
up. So I did that, and that was a really valuable part as well, and so that was able to help me sort of recalibrate in my personal life around my health,
Yeah.
and then I think it also, though, gave me that space to come back creatively, and
Yeah.
then now that I have come back to my business, I just realized, I feel reinvigorated, I feel like I'm more in alignment, and I'm just really excited to be doing it, but at the
Yeah.
time, like last year, I was exhausted or drained really quickly, so I wasn't showing up places, and I just needed to kind of pull back and disappear for a little bit,
Yeah.
and I think that's important to do if you need to do it. I just wish I had realized maybe earlier some of the things I was doing that were causing some of the you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
have been
Yeah.
nice. That would have been
100%.
handy.
Yeah.
But we
100%.
learn when we're ready to learn, not when someone else is ready to teach us or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I had to learn in my own time.
Yeah, that's good. That is huge. Learning, we learn when we are ready to learn. Not,
Mhm.
you can get all the advice from your friends, all
Yeah.
the, right? Like all of that stuff, but if you're not for whatever it is, and sometimes it's not even, I don't want to say it, you're not feeling it, cuz that's literally what it is, but you don't know that you're not feeling it, right? It's just
Mhm.
whenever you can maybe come to terms with it, whenever you can really accept it. I
Yeah.
can definitely 100% relate to that. And then the accountability thing, you and I are
Yeah.
absolutely here. Um, so I just started really, I've been saying I'm going to eat healthier and I'm going to, do better with physical activity. And it's like you want to do it. That's the thing, that you
Yeah.
want to do it. You say it and you want to do
Mhm.
it, but there's something, right? There's this, you wanting to do it, and this is you actually doing it, and the two sometimes they don't
Yeah.
meet. It takes a long time for them
Yeah.
to meet. I don't want to say that they don't
Well,
meet, but it takes. Go ahead.
and I think so I don't know if you know this about me,
Mm,
but I'm absolutely fascinated by why people don't change even when they want to. And this is actually what I used to teach about. And I still really care about it. And
yeah.
so, but I think there are a couple of things going on. One is that sometimes, like you said, I actually think, and the book Laziness Does Not Exist was so, so
Mm,
powerful for me to read around the fact that sometimes we are, there's no gas in the tank. We actually
yeah.
can't do things. We need to rest, but we
Yeah.
have a tendency to label it as, oh, you're being lazy. And we
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
expect more than we're necessarily capable of. And the last couple of years, we're draining on everyone in different ways for different reasons, but
Yep.
extra draining on all of us. And so I think there's a physically being able to do the things we want to do is one thing. Like you
Mm-hmm.
might just genuinely not have the
Yep.
energy or the bandwidth physically or mentally to do it.
Yeah.
Then the other side, though, is sometimes we want to change and we actually are capable. So we have the energy, we have the ability,
Yeah.
but we're not doing it because our identity is protecting us from doing it, and we have these fears. And so it's what I used to teach about is that
Yeah.
we have sort of one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake at the same time, and we're not going anywhere.
Mm.
And it's not because we don't genuinely want to, it's not because
Yeah.
we're not genuinely interested in it or that we're not sincerely committed to changing.
Yeah.
It's that we're committed to changing, but our psychological immune system is committed to protecting our identity
Mm.
and protecting
Mm.
us from something bad happening. And
Mm.
so we can hold ourselves back, but we don't realize what's under the surface and
Yeah.
why we might be resistant to changing.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have none of my sound effects here, so I'm gonna be like for you.
And I have sound effects on, but my roadcaster's out of reach and I don't know which button does which. So it would be a total crapshoot.
Right, exactly. Carlos
I
says,
feel like
"What an
sound effect roulette.
exactly." Carlos says, "What an incredible achievement, Kat. Retooling for our physical and mental health is a serious challenge. We tend to neglect ourselves for the sake of accomplishment, success, busyness, etc." And CK
Yeah.
says, "ADHD makes the need for routine painful. You want routine, but you also get bored from it easily and seek the next dopamine high." Man,
Yeah.
that's
I
good
think
stuff.
so. I don't know about you.
Mm.
The more I learn about ADHD, the more I was like, wow, that really sounds like me. And I don't know if
Right?
it is or
Yeah.
not. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a theory that technology has actually changed our brains enough that a lot of people have symptoms of ADHD but might not have
Yeah.
ADHD, like they're from childhood. They
Right.
didn't maybe have signs, but now they have them as
Yeah.
an adult. And I
Yeah.
think they are real symptoms that people are experiencing that
Yeah.
can be extremely limiting and debilitating. And I
Yeah.
think some of the coping is
Yeah.
helpful regardless of if you truly have ADHD from a physiological standpoint or not.
Yeah.
But I definitely, all of the ADHD content I see is like, oh God, I feel that. And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to just learn from it and take
Yeah.
the lessons that I can, and also
Yeah.
just my own things. Like you said, yes, accountability
Yeah.
works. And what CK said around routine, that is actually,
Yeah.
when I talk about why we don't change even when we want to, one of my biggest things when I actually do the work to uncover why am I stopping myself, it's almost always a fear of losing my freedom or a fear of being restricted in some way, which is very common for people like us. I feel like you and I
Yeah.
have that in common,
Yeah.
where if we feel like
Yeah.
this routine is going to keep us trapped, we're going to feel
Yeah.
stuck.
Yeah.
That is where I really, really struggle. But
Yeah.
I know logically, the logical part of my brain
Yeah.
knows that routine can actually give us more freedom.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have to remind myself intentionally over and over and over again, because to me, routine feels so boring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true, man. Listen, and
Yeah.
exactly what you said, right? Like that routine of just like sometimes taking away or that commitment, like, right? It's like, well, I can't, if I wake up earlier to go to the gym or to do some sort of physical activity, that's going to push
Mhm.
everything else back.
Yeah.
And it's like, I got to make time for it. And it's like, but do I have, right? It's all of that.
Yeah.
But the other end of it, right? Going back to your comment about the accountability, I started eating healthier, and I've been wanting to go on a cycling trip for forever, and so
Oh,
it was
nice.
on one of my Facebook communities where they last year they did it, they're doing it again this year to go to Jamaica cycling. And so I missed out
So,
last year.
yeah.
Listen, I missed out last year and then I saw and I went in, and you can do it on payment plans. And
Oh,
so
nice.
like for what I signed up, it's like $200 a month between last month and all the way to like August. And I have to pay
Mhm.
for my flight, but
Yeah.
everything else is included. Like it's all inclusive for.
Because usually, like, I've looked into cycling trips because I think you know that I enjoy cycling as
Yeah,
well, and
yeah.
I've looked into
Yeah.
Europe has a whole bunch of trips as well, but I think
Mhm.
they take care of your luggage and your accommodation, and they kind
What happened? What happened? That was so weird.
Was that me?
That was not you. But listen, I love Ecamm. We're going to talk about this, and I'm sorry. I ran out of interview time and it booted you
Oh,
off.
wait, do
I
you
don't,
have more now?
I just had to buy more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love, listen, I love Ecamm, love Katie, love Glenn, love Ken, love Glenn, love the whole team there. There needs to be a better workaround. Dude, put that on my bill for next month.
Yeah, it's almost like in a bank account where it should let you dip while you're live.
I'm going to be talking
Oh,
to them tomorrow.
you fixed that fast? Wow.
They gave you options. I looked down at the interview window and it says you ran out of interview times. Would you like to buy more? Obviously, I'm in the middle of a live stream. So I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, 20 hours, $15. And as soon as I hit yes, you were obviously calling right away, but it came through.
Okay.
All right, we're not going to
I
dwell
love
on
biking
that.
so much, I ran away for a ride. Bye, I'll be right back.
Wait, but that's what they said. They said Cat left us for a bike ride. You, we
I'm
were
back,
so
I'm back.
into
I did
cycling.
not leave. I'm definitely still in my chair. I'm here. I'm here.
Yo, that was funny. All right, so go ahead. So what we heard was
Oh,
the
I
last
was just
thing.
saying that they do all the planning for you for those trips.
Right, that's what you were saying. Okay,
Oh,
so
CK. Oh, I just saw. Did you see that? Did you
no,
get a
she.
little
Oh, thank
super
you,
chat?
CK. It just came through. Bring back.
That is so nice.
Thank you. I love you because I'm looking. I was like, what the? That needs to be worked into better. That needs to be worked into
Yeah.
better. I'm gonna talk to them. But anyway, okay. So with this particular trip, what is included is, so you could have rented a bike, but because you know how it is, like especially with like a road bike with all of that, like my bike
Mhm.
is fitted to me.
Yeah.
Right, like it's just,
Have you
and I
traveled
want,
with one on a plane?
I have not. It will be my first time, so I need to
Okay.
get, because I'm buying, because I decided not to rent a bike. I said I have my, and then we spend so
Mhm.
much money. Like my bike is like, it's like $4,000 with everything I've put into it because I
Oh
upgraded
yeah.
carbon fiber wheels. Right, like I'm.
I never leave my bike out of sight. The
Oh
two
no,
times people are like, "Do you want to go for coffee?" and I'll try and find a way to back
girl.
my, either I will take the wheel off and
Right,
try and fit it into the tiny little car that I have,
right,
or try and tuck it into a parking spot so that it would take, and then within sight, so that when I'm
right.
in the
Yep,
coffee shop with the other cyclists,
yep,
I can see the bike, and
yeah,
it's wrapped so many times that
yep.
I'd be able to run there and stop the
In
person.
time, yes. Do
It's
you have an
the
air tag on the bike?
paranoia.
I have an air
Do I,
tag on my bike.
a what?
An air tag, the Apple air tags.
Oh, no. So I actually, so to be honest, I haven't gone out on the road since before COVID because I don't like biking solo. I really like being in groups
I
because the
got you.
country roads around here, I
Okay,
just don't want to get hit. So I
got
only
it.
go in groups, but I haven't been with a group since pre-COVID. So I'm just
Girl,
biking
get out
indoors.
there. Gotcha. Okay.
I know. I need to sign up for the group again. It's also a nice
Yeah,
social activity and it's
it is.
accountability. Yeah.
Exactly. See, exactly that. Right. Well,
Yeah.
so I do have an air tag. You can buy like little you can get them from Etsy where they're 3D printed air tag holders and you can put it right behind where you put your water bottle. Water.
Yeah.
Did you hear the New York in me come out? Water.
What a bottle.
My,
Yeah, but I probably sound Canadian. I was like, water bottle. I don't know.
um Oh, look, Paul Berg gave a super chat too. You should ask guests to accept eCam charges. Yes.
Collect call. Do you
Collect
want to
call.
rejoin? Pay.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, thank you, Paul. Thank you, CK. I appreciate you guys. But yes, so I do have an air tag on there. I actually went as far as also putting my bike on a separate schedule for my homeowner's insurance because living in the city, and I
Okay.
do cycle by myself, but
Yeah.
living in the city, whether it's God forbid I get into an accident and the
Mhm.
bike, is really bad, or if they steal it from me, that bike is too expensive to like just be like, oh, I'll just go out and buy a new
You
one.
got it
Mm-mm.
insured, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I do have it
I won't
insured.
lock it. If I'm on my road bike, I'm either going from A
Yeah,
back to B to A. There's no
right,
B,
right,
or it's getting locked somewhere. And then
right.
I have just a hybrid sort of commuting bike that I'll
Yeah,
actually lock somewhere. That's the thing I'll
yeah,
take if I want to bike somewhere.
right.
But if I'm doing road cycling, I
Right.
that thing's not leaving my sight.
Going in it. Mm-mm.
No.
Exactly. It's not. I'm gonna have. You know how it is. All the bars back here. I got enough water bottles. There's no
Yeah.
need for nothing else. Like, so I did book the trip, the cycling trip
That's
to
awesome.
Jamaica. It's from November 2nd to the 6th. I actually added on 2 extra nights for myself. I'm doing this.
Nice.
I'm going with the girls from the cycling group that I'm in, but this
Mhm.
is like a me thing, right? So it's not.
Yeah.
My mom was so mad. She's like, I wanted to go with you. And I said, no, I'm doing this for me. Like, she's like, but I could have come. Mom, this is a me thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
so I
Oh,
did. Oh,
you just disappeared.
what is happening? All right. It's also, I'm also looking at the time. Oh, did my camera die?
Oh, we are at the hour. How did that happen so
We
quickly?
are at the
I feel like
hour,
we
and I
didn't
think
talk
the
about
battery
anything.
died. We didn't. I know. Hold on. I'm gonna come. We're gonna do this like this. And hold on. Let me turn on my NDI. At least you guys can still hear me. We can do this like this. Hold on. What
Use
is
your
happening?
iPhone.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm just coming in. Let me see. Let
So
me.
while you do that, the thing
Yes.
I'm going to do for myself, which is not a cycling trip, but it's something I've wanted to do for a few years, there is a velodrome about 40 minutes from my house. And so I signed up last year to try the track at the velodrome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I injured my back. So I had to put it
Oh
off. But then
no.
this year, my back is doing better. And so it's my goal in the spring for my birthday to actually do it this year.
And tell people what the velodrome is, just in case they don't know
So
what
the
the
velodrome
velodrome
is
is.
the indoor cycling
Yeah.
track. So if you ever see indoor cycling at any cycling competition where they're going round and round in
Round.
that
Yeah.
curved velodrome, that's what it is. So that's my plan. We'll find out if I do
Yeah,
it.
and hold on. I think I got this. I have no idea how to use the Shoot app. I don't know, guys.
I think you can just use you have the NDI camera, right? HX
I
camera.
do, but it came. Oh,
Turn it on yourself.
no, I could.
Oh wait, you have capture. Do you have camera? They're two different apps.
Is this what? What? Okay, but
I
look,
see
it's
you.
not showing up. No, it's frozen.
I also see the rolls behind you, which is kind of cool to see
You do
them.
see the road behind me,
And
but
it is
that's
frozen.
okay.
Yes.
There it is. Why is that? Oh man. All right, so we're gonna do this last alternative, and then we're gonna end the stream. Hold on, hold on. Let me, we're gonna do the potato MacBook camera.